I want to welcome again everyone that is here. Dr. Chris, are you ready? I believe God has something to tell us again. After the second message, we will take a short break. Then after the third message, I want us to be through at exactly 5, if not earlier, because that's the time we fixed. So after this, I believe that we'll have a lot to chew on. Dr. Chris has been my childhood friend, now my brother, and he's a banker. So if he's talking about pressure, you will understand. Did not only work for people, but he's running his own bank by the grace of God, and also heading a pastoral office. So how is he able to juggle the two? And another work is to be a husband and then be a father. How are you able to juggle all these, wear all this cap and you are still in one piece? You don't have any high blood pressure. We need your help today. And I believe that the Lord has put his words in your mouth to speak to men. Not only the people that are here are listening. This is on YouTube, this is on Facebook, and all the speakers here, this message is going on their walls. And just before I call you up, let me stop this and start afresh. Yes, I don't want it to be too long as it go. All right. Yes, sir. Do what only you can do with God on your side. Dr. Chris, over to you. You are muted. You are muted, yes.
Am I heard?
Yes, you are, clearly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, my beloved brother, the Apostle Robert Tefon. I'm so grateful to be part of this meeting again today. It's been very exciting listening to Pastor Ajay, and it was so pleasing.
That's Apostle Kolade, you mean?
Okay. So I was so blessed by the first speaker for what God used him to speak to our spirit. And so we have to define purpose, begin to live on that premise. It would help us on a more precise format. Today, I want to continue from where we stopped, where we left off the last edition, how we can turn pressure to power. And we try to tell ourselves it's a favor that we could only do to ourselves by turning pressures around us to power. Because pressure is a daily occurrence. It's something that comes every day. So today I want to start by trying to find out what really is pressure. What is pressure? And it's so difficult to define pressure because we have pressure that is positive, we have pressure that is negative. And for me, I think we should define pressure limits, such as will be beneficial to our body. So I like to say that pressure attempts to persuade. What pressure does is try to persuade or coerce someone into something. That's what pressure does. That's why pressure is very persuasive. In other words, it's very convincing. So sometimes when the pressure becomes so convincing, it also can be appealing. And if the boundaries or the limits are not defined, there's a tendency to think that it is all well. And before you know, it has put a lot of pains on you. Again, pressure attempts to suggest the idea, if it is beyond the boundaries, it suggests the ideas that I think it is time for you to resign. And I think that is where a lot of us are finding it difficult to really cope. When pressure tells you it is time to resign, in other words, I've taken more than enough. It's not just possible. It can't happen anymore. I can't handle it. So it suggests, it attempts to tell you, to suggest to you, it is time to resign. For example, like the last speaker said, when he said, look, when you get into a competitive arena and thinking that you want to be what the other person is, or you are not yet what the other person is, or you now begin to see life as 100 meters sprint, such that, oh, in the next few minutes, someone should finish it. And the person that should finish it must be me. And so suddenly you find yourself, you're not the one finishing first. And if you're not the one finishing first, you inflict a lot of pains on yourself. And these pains seem to suggest to you, you did not finish first. And for that reason, you should resign. And so if we understand these two major definitions of what pressure tries to do, then you would now be able to turn pressure into something positive or something negative. Again, I recap that the persuasion that comes with pressure can be likened to being a marketer, selling a product. So you have to be able to convince your buyer to sell. Because I have discovered over the years that sales, in one word, also means persuasion. So when you persuade an unlikely buyer to buy a product that he never intended or never wanted, it means you have persuaded that buyer. You have persuaded him enough. So that's what pressure really does to our bodies, to us on a daily basis. It's trying to cause us to buy in, persuade us to buy in, coerce us to do the thing that we ordinarily do not want to do. It is an attempt that suggests the idea that we should resign. And if you are here today, hearing that in this meeting, I want you to try not to resign. Because if you understand the characteristics of pressure, you will know how to handle pressure. So can I, maybe in the next 2 minutes, look at what are the characteristics of pressure? It is persistent, doesn't give in, doesn't give up, doesn't leave you like that. It is continuous. It is almost a daily occurrence. And the most dangerous aspect of pressure, characteristic of pressure, is that it operates noiselessly. So it can be hanging around you, just sipping into your mind, sipping in to the things that are happening around you, your environment at that time, and you are it is unnoticed, or you aren't paying attention to it, and it's eating you up, and then suddenly you are taken as a captive. If you understand that, when you see it coming, you can now be able to convert it. But if you don't know what pressure is, you don't know how it operates, how it shows up, the component, the characteristic traits of pressure, when they show up, you will know, and you won't be able to mitigate. And like my friend said, I have, from the time I graduated from school, I've been in an environment that deadlines are defined. Every day you find yourself in an environment of deadlines. You find yourself um, trying to meet timelines, trying to meet deadlines, and sometimes you try to make all the dead cells in your life to come alive, and you are trying to release all the adrenaline to make sure that deadlines are met. So suddenly you find yourself in an environment of pressure. How do you handle this pressure? How do you make these pressures work for you? Like some people say, how do you make money to work for you? You know, and if you can make money to work for you, that means you have brought pressure to stand still. If you can make pressure to work for you, it means you have actually become a conqueror. You have become powerful. You have gained power. You have gained control. Number one, I want to share with you how to turn pressure to power. From where we stopped, today's number one of where we stopped to is please get organized. Just get organized. If you are organized, you will discover that what makes you look too busy is like you are overworking. It's like you are too busy. You are so hardworking. It's not true. You say that what pressurizes you is as a result of disorganized life, purposeless life, life that does not have a bearing. It will put pressure on you. And I see men who are so disorganized. Sometimes we are so disorganized that we don't know which one is first, which one is second, which one takes the takes the first in our lives before the other one. So if you are disorganized, 24 hours will not be sufficient for you. If you are disorganized, you would be asking, oh, why didn't God give us 30 hours in a day? Why? The reason is not because God did not know what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knew that in certain part of the world, 12 hours will be sufficient. The next 4 hours will be sufficient for you to do other things, maybe rest. And then 8 hours, 8 hours, you can sleep and rest and more. Or give yourself some other times to do other things that will make your life happy and all that. But if you are not organized, every second is useless for you. 2 hours are useless for you. 5 hours don't make sense to you. The reason is that you have not organized yourself. So if you want to turn pressure to power, please do everything to be organized. Organize your work, organize your family, organize your relationship, organize your purpose, organize your day. Don't let the day catch you unawares. Don't just wake up in the morning and begin to what am I really going to do today? Where do I start? Asking that question is a clear indication that you are not organized. But if you are organized, as you wake up in the morning, your timetable is set from 3 a.m. or from 4 a.m. for people that start their day at that time. 4 a.m. there's clarity of purpose. The to-do list is ready. You need the time you're going to allot to your official duties. You know the time you're going to allot to your family, your time, yourself, and if you're married, your wife, and everything around you. These things would help you to turn those pressures to power. If you organize your day, your year, your month, your weeks, you will see how powerful you are in terms of deliveries, in terms of productivity, in terms of achievement, in terms of exceeding targets. Number two, if you want to turn pressure to power, you have to not just prioritize, you have to know your priorities. I've heard that word time and again, prioritize, prioritize. But if you don't know what to prioritize, you won't prioritize. So you must know your priorities. You must know. My emphasis is that you must know your priorities. Because if you don't know your priorities, you will take frivolous calls. If you don't know your priorities, you would read all the junks on your WhatsApp, your Facebook. If you don't know your priorities, you would answer every you would respond to everything written on your wall. If you don't know your priorities, you wouldn't know when to drop your phone. If you don't know your priority, you wouldn't know when to stop a call. I crack these jokes with those who call me, and when they call me, they ask me, "Oh, sir, how was your night?" And I'm like, "What are you going to do with my night?" And if I tell you how my night was, because if I answer that question, I might sound like I'm rude. I'm not. Somebody calls me, "Sir, how was your night? What do you want to do with it?" How would that answer affect you? If I tell you the things that I did with my wife in the night, how would I help you? So you don't need it. So when you notice those who call me and ask me, "How was your night?" I will just go straight to, "Can you please go straight to the point?" Because if you know how many minutes go with "How was your night?" I hope you slept well. I hope you woke up well and all that. And the person will not add anything to the answer you provide. It's not going to make any useful impact in the person's life. So when to prioritize? Know what you are prioritizing. Know what you hold important. Know what the scale of your relative preference really is. What is uppermost on your top list for the day. And then you give a massive attack on it. The moment you release a massive attack on it, I can tell you that at the close of the day, you will look back and tell yourself, "I have done what I'm supposed to do today." Life is so sweet when you prioritize. Number three, realize that pressure, a certain amount of pressure, is good for you. A certain amount of pressure is good for you. Actually, I got this notion from psychologists that pressure is also good for you. And so, if pressure is good for your life, so you should allow a certain degree of pressure that is channeled towards meeting deadlines, towards achieving target, towards achieving purpose, towards achieving goals deliberately designed for you. I used to work when I was an employee in the banking sector. I had this beautiful mentor, boss, manager, and the man would always crack jokes with us. And he would jokes in two areas. It was the reward for hard work, the small work. And he said, "Work hard." Then he would say, "Work hard and live long." So I noticed that is a good, because there's somebody who works hard and does not come under pressure. If you are actually going to work real hard and succeed, definitely you will come under pressure. But that pressure is not to destroy you. That pressure is to take you, is navigating you to your destination. It's navigating you to your target point. It's navigating you to where you're going. And so, take for example, I have a lot of people who want to see me on a daily basis. I walk into the office. Sometimes you see a lot of people. So what do? I tell my secretary or whoever is available with me at that moment that please just give them orientation that I have 3 minutes for everyone that wants to see me. So reorganize your thought, reorganize what you want to tell me, reorganize what you're going to discuss with me. The moment your time is up, I will stand up. Standing up means I'm up with you. Please, can you also stand? And maybe we should start walking towards the door. That is how I understand, manage the stress of, instead of it pulling me down, of having so many people to see and I can't see all of them, and then somebody will leave my office annoyed. He will leave my office. I say I would have saved myself the embarrassment, and those who came to meet with me who also feel he kept me here for hours. He didn't see me. Who does he even think he is? Is it because I came to his office? That is a pressure. How do you handle that? So a certain amount of pressure is good for you. So define your pressure level, what you can take and convert it to power, and it will build you up. The next thing I want to talk about is that if you want to really convert pressure to power, please endeavor to love yourself. Love yourself. If you love yourself, you would know that love, loving yourself is, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It helps you. It will keep you longer than you think you want to stay. If you love yourself, you would know when to stop certain things. If you love yourself, you will know how to say no. If you love yourself, you would know things that will bring pressure on yourself. So you deliberately put boundaries around those things and wedge them away from yourself. You know the things that if they come to you, for example, I tell myself I don't have all that energy, I don't have all that strength, I can't stand scandal, I cannot stand blackmail, I cannot stand, hey, they said you did this, why did you do it? My friend, the host of this program, when we were children, when we were young in the school, and he made a comment which I don't think he has remembered, and it stuck with me. He said that things that my children will come and ask me, Daddy, what happened? I don't know what I can remember that. That he avoids those things that his children will come and say, Daddy, what happened? What happened? And as I was making those things many, many years ago, he didn't know it stuck with me. So that becomes a guiding principle for me too. Um, Anything I want to do, I take my children into consideration. I take my family, I take my wife, I take the Church of Jesus, I take even my friends into consideration. If I do this, my friends will tell me, Chris, why did you do it? What happened? And I will not be able to have answer to it. So what do? I define my pressure level. I define
I think that's a network challenge. Trust God, you will come back.
they are everywhere. The family, they are there.
Sorry about that. I think
There are things that you can prevent. So what do? Do everything to make sure.
hello.
Exercise and relax. Is
Sorry. I think the bandwidth.
Yeah, I went to a house.
Hello, Pastor Chris. Sorry.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please. The things you said the last 2-3 minutes, please, if you can remember as much as you can, because we missed you at some point. I think the internet is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to work today? And she was like, oh, I felt in myself that my body couldn't carry me for work today. So I called them in the office and I told them, do you remember what you told us? When you feel in your body that you can't make it to the office, please relax. So you sense in your body when you need to relax. It will turn those pressures to power. Exercise, regular exercise and relaxing will turn the pressures into power. And then acknowledge, please, this is very important as I begin to round up. Please acknowledge your limitations. Whatever is where you cannot overstretch, please do not try to overstretch. If you know you can't overstretch, do everything to make sure you don't overstretch. Many of us are trying to impress people. I think the first speaker mentioned this also, particularly pastors. You don't even know where your call. You have not been able to define your calling intensively. You don't even know what, you are not sure what God told you to do. But simply because the other pastor is doing that, the other minister is doing that. Oh, they do this in their church, so I must do it. Please understand your limitations. Know where your limitations are and operate within the ambit of your grace. Try not to impress people. Endeavor not to make yourself look like the other person. I didn't say become docile. I didn't say become lazy. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying everybody has a capacity. The Bible talks about the measure of grace that everybody carries. I carry a measure of grace, you carry a measure of grace. So when you understand that and you begin to operate within that ambit, you will see that you would excel. For those of you that are competing, for those of us that are competing, I don't know amongst us those that are competing, but you know what? Remember, whenever you are trying to compete, that the Bible says they that compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise, they are fools. Now, that makes you become lazy. Makes some of us become very lazy. Because I'm saying if you're a fool and the other person is a fool, and you tell yourself, good, can't you see all of us are fools? And then in this kingdom, all of us are fools. So you ain't going to go nowhere in life. You're not going to succeed. But if you are a fool and you know that is how you find yourself as a fool. And you said, no, I don't want to remain a fool forever. I don't want to remain a fool for so long or longer than this. What do? You begin to look at the wise man there. And you tell yourself, look, how did he get there to become that wise? To do what he's doing. So you look at which other extra grace do you have? How can I metamorphose from where I am to where I should or think I can be? That would help you. Finally, I want to say that you, in life, if you want to turn your pressure to power, strive only in support of a win-win model. It will foster friendship. It would bring good results. It is going to bring you into great partnerships. It will open doors. The moment you begin to function in the arena of a win-win model, you are going to turn pressure to power. There are things you can't do alone. And so you go for a win win-win model. You know, they started with a win-win model, but now there is a win-win-win. That is also a lecture on its own. But if you go for that, in other words, you are going to turn pressure to power. Because when, like in number 7 item I gave, how you can recognize the limitation. Where your limitation stops, a partner will take off from there. Now, go for a win-win with your wife. Go for a win-win with your business partners. Go for a win-win with all your team members. If you are in the mission field, in the church, you're a pastor, go for a win-win. Look for, in a win-win situation, first and foremost, think of how to create value for the other person. Creating value for the other person is a major way of winning. It's a major path to winning. Creating value, letting the other person that works with you get value. I noticed that a lot of, if you are employer of labor, the only way you can win is to get them to win. If you must win, let them win. For me, my model in my business with my employees and everyone working with me is to get them to win first before I win. I want to make them to win first. Everyone working, even if you win and you leave my organization, I'm too sure you can't talk evil of me. Even if you talk, somebody will say, but how did you get here? All right. So a win-win model will take pressure off you, because I keep saying to people, as you keep growing and as you're advancing, please begin to work out. Let them handle certain things for you. Train them. Somebody said delegation is giving out your hand and retaining your eyes. So when you give out your hand, you can retain your eyes. That is delegation. And if I were your examiner and you give me that definition in 2 lines, maybe 2 sentences, I was if it was 15%, I will give you 14. If you learn how to win and develop a win-win model, empower them, let them have clarity of what you're doing. Let them understand where they're supposed to start from and where they're supposed to end, and then get them, release their hand to them, then retain their eyes and see what they are doing. And then preview and then review. You will take the pressure off you. You will turn pressure into, you will see the thing running. Guess who takes the credit? It is you at the end of the day. They do the job for you. Everybody says, oh, you're the one doing it. But because you have learned how to turn pressure to power, you are able to develop a win-win model. I pray that as we close this today, God will give you the grace to develop a win-win-win model for everything in your life that will enable you to convert everything that looks like pressurizing you, making your life bitter, to sweet, and you become a very powerful person. God bless you. Thank you.
Hallelujah. My goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. That's a powerful delivery. And you know, when the anointing mixes with skill, you have a masterpiece. Praise God. I just believe in God that this will, those who are not here will listen to this and be blessed by it.